We know that yes, Spain did win the final 1-0 through Ferran Torres, but we also had a France-England that was a game that looked like a preseason game, just open for anything, with 10 goals in total. What a display! So much explosiveness, talent. That's what this game displayed. It felt like France did not want to be there anymore. They did try to come back in the second half, but England just put one of the leaders in the field just to inject calmness, leadership, and containment. And England just came in and closed the game. England closes third place, something that, yes, you will not be satisfied. You do not want, because you always want more and you always want better. But it's something to work in for this youth of this English team that has a bright future ahead of them too. But we're gonna go into this France-England game, the game that was a display for the third place, a game where France met England, a game where England won 6-4. Pero para esos que no saben, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer, football honestly. But at the same time, we have this France against England. A England that was already 4-3-0 in the first half. The Three Lions took absolute command in the first half, racing to a 4-0 lead before the halftime. Declan Rice, he opened the scoring in the third minute, followed by Esri Konsa header and a quick fire brace from Bukayo Saka. France just mounted a ferocious second half resurgence orchestrated by Kylian Mbappe, clawing back to a 4-3 and later in a 5-4 via goals from Mbappe, Bradley Barcola, and Ousmane Dembele. However, Saka, he just completely went and looked for his hat-trick from the penalty spot, and he was going to complete a hat-trick. No way he was going to try to miss that or make his teammates or team look bad when it was just time to close. But then Jude Bellingham, he just came in and froze the game deep in stoppage time in a spectacular solo goal to seal England's best tournament finish since 1966. This is a rewriting of record books in this game. This 10-goal explosion officially just shattered the record for the highest scoring third place match in 96-year history in the FIFA World Cup, and surpassing France's 6-3 victory over West Germany in 1958. It also stands as the highest scoring game at the World Cup since Hungary's 10-1 win against El Salvador in 1982. And the individual landmarks for Mbappe and Bellingham in this tournament and in this game is that Kylian Mbappe, despite the defeat, he scored second half brace, pushed his career tally to 22 World Cup goals, and overtaking Leo Messi to become the all-time top scorer in the World Cup history. His 10 goals in the 2026 tournament also made him the first player to hit double digits in a single edition since Gerd Muller in 1970. And then for Jude Bellingham, Bellingham's late solo goal was his 7th goal of the campaign, breaking the record of the most goals scored by an English player in a single World Cup tournament, eclipsing Gary Lineker in 1986 and Harry Kane in 2018. This English team is in good hands. This French team is in great hands. And at the end of these teams is just how technical and how good can you become with the possession and the transition of ball attacking and defending, something that we have seen in this Spanish team. Players that are very explosive, but they're also very technical on the ball. But what does the third place means for this England and the future of this English team? But it is a historic, psychological breakthrough. Winning the bronze medal marks England's best World Cup finish in 60 years. And since winning in 1966 and their greatest finish ever on foreign soil, for a program often bogged down by tournament trauma, blowing past the powerhouse like France, establish a culture, winning big knockout games. And then the Thomas Tuchel era foundation also comes in display. Thomas Tuchel successfully just closed out his debut tournament on a high note. Yes, there is some criticism that follows him, but it's something to build on. Now they have gotten a taste of this stage. But he's also rebounding from a heartbreaking semifinal loss to Argentina to score 6 goals against France. Validates a very tactical setup and gets the fan base entirely behind him heading into the next cycle. And yes, he can definitely work with this team, try to take them over that little hump to win silverware. But he finds himself with criticism that also was thrown at Southgate, because it's just hard to get this English team that is star-studded, really, really star-studded. It's just hard to get this English team just a little above that hump to just get the silverware that this English team has been looking for so long. But at the same time, the present and the future course for this English team, what it means winning this third place in their future. But the present and future course, Bukayo Saka's lethal hat-trick and Jude Bellingham brilliant tournament capping solo goals prove that England's superstar core is not just elite, but capable of carrying the team through tournament fatigue. And England just now they have to get themselves reassessed in the immediate roadmap. The Three Lions will have almost no time to celebrate. Their future immediately clicks into a high gear into an elite test against the newly crowned World Cup champions, which is Spain, in the blockbuster for the UEFA Nations League matchup at the Wembley Stadium on September 2026. That is just gonna be around the corner. So this English team now sees themselves being tested by the Spanish world champion that just literally won, and in September they will be going to play the world champion against third place England. They are going to test and see where they are at again in September, but we will see where this English team goes. And what does the match in general mean for France and their future? In the end of the champs, this is the end of the champs dynasty. The 6-4 defeat against England marks the official end of the other champs' historic 14-year reign as the manager of the Les Bleus. After the World Cup trophy in 2018 and a Nation League's title and a second place finish in 2022, France now faces an immediate future defined by a new managerial search and a structural tactical reset. And the talks are Zidane is 100% taking over in this France. So that's a new cycle for this French team. And at the same time, Kylian Mbappe enters into an immortality. Despite the defensive collapse, captain Kylian Mbappe used the second half to solidify himself in the World Cup myth. His 2 goals brought his tournament tally to 10, securing the golden boot of this tournament, and his career total to 22 World Cup goals, officially bypassing Lionel Messi by becoming the all-time top scorer in the World Cup history at just 27 years old, and still has another 1 or 2 World Cups in his bag to be able to keep going with this individual record. And France's immediate future remains completely built around his prime at the moment. The next 2 World Cups will be very important. See how this Mbappe develops and how this Mbappe is able to help this French team. And yes, is a World Cup is a defensive wake-up call for France. The shipwrecking 4 goals in the first half exposed clearly communication and transition vulnerabilities. Without key anchors like William Saliba, the new incoming coaching staff will face immediate pressure to shore up the backline. There is great talent in that backline. Yes, some of them are more solid than others, and that's just how football is. That's just how characteristics of certain things are too. But when you don't have continuance, when you don't have playtime, then you are not secure within your game. That's one. And coming cold makes you look bad, and that's just football. But yes, in this specific game, France does have vulnerabilities to them, and they have to work on that, and they have to see how they can secure that back line. But the next generation is also about to take over. for this French team. The roaring second half comeback was fueled by a young guard with Bradley Barcola scoring, Michael Lees pulling strings in the midfield. France's future route involves fully passing the torch to these electric wingers as they rebuild ahead of the Euro 2028 qualifying cycle. They are at the moment on that rebuild ahead of the Euro coming up in 2028 when it's going to be a qualifying cycle in the Euros. But this third place match, France against England, is a match that both teams have to look at. You could tell that some teams had some errors. Yes, it felt like some teams just wanted to show face and get out of there. But this means something. There's a ranking statistically. There's a ranking, and some don't care if the ranking is there. That doesn't mean much for some, due to the fact that at the end of the day, what matters is silverware. Sometimes the first place team in the world ranking has not won the World Cup, and we see that in this. And then Spain goes to number one, and it's just how things are. But this is a time where some of these nations have to look at their system and just fix the small details to have their system work better, because all these nations, the last eight nations that got to the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final, these are top quality nations that always leave a mark in the competition, and they always leave a memory within the World Cup they take place, because they are great teams with quality, often developing through the process of everything. It was a great World Cup. Um, I believe that it could have been better, but this is what happens when you have a capitalist nation and a developed market for entertainment. That's what it is. Um, it was amazing. I mean, can't get over it. Amazing memories. Great displays. So many players. I mean, so many memories in general. At the end of the day, the world come together. There's negatives and positives that always come around. But that's just part of the game. That's just part of sports. And this is a world stage sport where more than half of the world plays this game. So there will always be negative and positive things that follow it. But it was an amazing final. It was great to see this final. And football won in the end. Football won. There's a lot of contradicting things that always come uh, in sports. But when many people are pointing out the same thing and it's not rectified, then you definitely know that there's a problem that has to be looked at. Pero para esos que no saben, esto es pase ambidiestro, ambidextrous pass, fútbol honestamente, soccer, football honestly. And if you do not want to miss anything on some European leagues and international football, please like and subscribe. Have a good one. Thank you all.